For me, the decision about whether to buy an RV creates a collision between dreams and reality, although it's a very attractive dream to me. My first car was a VW bus converted with an icebox and a fold-out bed. Whenever my friends and I could scrape together $10, we'd head out camping, cooking hot dogs and a can of baked beans on an open fire. We had a great time. And I decided my dream retirement would be to drive an RV to the most beautiful places in the country, crank out the awning, and sit in my chair enjoying a beer. And dreams are what seem to sell RVs. Their ads are full of happy families, cute young couples, and seniors enjoying games with their grandkids. The iconic image of van life was a model pretty woman sitting in the open hatch of a van, watching her boyfriend with the washboard abs surfing. Freedom, independence, and exploration are key concepts in RV ads. And there's advantages to RVs. I stay in a lot of motels, and I used to look askance at people who carried in their own pillows, but COVID changed that for me. The idea of putting my face on the same pillow someone was coughing into the night before made me into a personal pillow carrier. Vans and RVs allow you to avoid sleeping in a strange bed altogether. I mean, you carry your own bed along with you. And superficially, you save the money of staying in a motel. However, even before considering the cost, RVs have downsides. I mean, you never have to level your motel room before going to bed, but you do in an RV. Plus, motel rooms never run out of hot water or heat, things you need to monitor in your RV. And you never have to worry about overfilling your holding tanks or emptying your gray water or black water tanks in a motel. And you have to clean up your own RV. Housekeeping staff does that for you in a motel. Plus, RVs, even the van-based Class B units I'm interested in, are awkward to drive, lack the speed and maneuverability of a car, and are easy to back into a pole, a shopping cart, or even another shopper. Plus, will all those cabinets and equipment whack you in the back of the head in a car crash? I like to shave and shower every morning, but the sink in a Class B is often the size of a breakfast bowl, and the hot water supply may be 3 gallons. Enough to shave, but not enough to supply the 17 gallons in a typical shower or the 70 gallons for a bath after a tough hike. In a small RV, the shower is combined with the toilet, leaving a soaking wet facility after a shower. And how about the restroom space? There are no elongated rim toilets in a Class B RV, and many small RVs have cassette toilets that you need to empty by hand. When you travel in a Class B, you have to pack up every time you drive for groceries or go to a restaurant. Plus, in developed campsites, you need to worry about the conduct of your neighbors. They can be loud, weird, and sometimes downright dangerous. As a younger man, I used to camp, and neighbor issues led me to leave my campsite half a dozen times. I've never had that problem in a motel room. Plus, in an RV, you need to consider if you should pack a gun. I don't do that when I stay in motels. RVs are subject to the wind and the weather. When camping, the wind can rock the unit, and the sleet can keep you awake hitting the windows. Heat, cold, and humidity are issues you have to deal with every day in an RV. There are shocking reports of the numbers of bugs and failures in new RVs. And speaking of bugs, mice can be a problem. I've only had mice once in a hotel, and it was in a cabin at Grand Canyon. They gave me that stay for free, plus a free return visit. But if you have mice in your RV, you need to get rid of them yourself. And if you have a fight with your traveling companion, how are you going to get away? A Class B RV has 100 square feet of space. That doesn't give a lot of room for quarreling couples. RVs can lead to togetherness or to divorce. But enough of these practical concerns. There are still numerous justifications for owning an RV, and I've been thinking about getting one. But what stops me every time are the costs. First, even if the RV were free, it costs money to operate it. For example, I hike at Grand Canyon once a month. It's a 1,000-mile round trip, and I stay for 2 nights. Just the difference in gas for an RV compared with a car is meaningful. For example, a gas-powered Class B gets 15 miles per gallon. A Prius all-wheel drive got 50 miles per gallon in a recent Consumer Reports test. With gas at $4 a gallon, that's a $186 difference between the RV and the car. At a national park, you don't get to park your RV for free. To stay in the trailer village at Grand Canyon costs $80 or more per night. That's with full hookups. The government-run campground, which doesn't have hookups, costs $18. Let's say on a winter night I choose the trailer village with the full hookups. That's another $160 for 2 nights. So the cost for gas and parking is $346 for a 2-night stay. So what about a motel? A couple of weeks ago, I stayed at Maswick Lodge 2 nights for $166. That's $180 savings over staying in RV in the camper village, and it's still $56 less than the RV in the basic government campground. And that's just comparing the operating costs and ignoring the capital costs. The initial cost of an RV is astronomical. For example, a mid-level Winnebago costs about $150,000. That's almost as much as I paid for my house. But my house has doubled in value, while the value of an RV plunges over time. The same RV you pay $150,000 for now will be worth about $50,000 in 4 years. It would probably be optimistic for me to expect to use the RV for 34 nights a year. That's based on a 2-night trip, 10 months of the year, plus 2 additional week-long trips, one in the spring and one in the fall. If I finance the RV purchase for 48 months at 7%, my monthly payment would be about $3,500 a month. But that's ridiculous. So let's pretend that I have $150,000 in the bank and I pay cash. That would result in a capital loss of $100,000 over 4 years, that's the depreciation, plus a loss of opportunity on the $150,000 sitting in the RV, which, assuming a conservative CD with a simple interest of 4%, would consume about $24,000 more of income over 4 years. So that's a loss of $140,000 over 4 years. Now, assuming the optimistic usage of 34 nights a year, the capital loss of the RV would be $1,029 per day of use. And even if I bought a used RV for 1/3 of the cost, it would still be $343 a usage night for capital costs. And that's before gas, repairs, insurance, storage, and site fees. Now, I have not included a deduct for the capital cost of a car because I maintain one anyway for around town driving. But even if I attributed 100% of the capital cost of a car to travel, it would not amount to more than 25% of the capital cost of the RV. And if you think my analysis is unrealistic, there's an attractive used RV for sale near me. It's nearly identical to the one in my analysis, but it's 10 years old and the fellow's asking $50,000. It only has 10,000 miles on it. That's 1,000 miles usage a year. If his depreciation loss is $100,000, each 1,000 mile trip cost him $10,000 before any other expenses. Costs are the core issue that separate the dream from the reality in RV ownership, and costs are why I don't own an RV. What do you think?